Hello, it's Chris again, and I was doing my Bible readings and prayers this morning, and it just came to me that maybe I should talk a bit about people being stuck at home at this time. And you might well feel that you're isolated, left alone, and lost at this time. I think a lot of people are. Their whole life has been changed round. The way they do things is no longer the same. I know some people are using Zoom and Skype and so on to keep contact with family and such, but that's not quite the same as having personal physical contact with people. And I was thinking about this, and I thought, well, actually in Psalm 139 David talks about how God is with him even in all these hard times. And I'm just going to read parts of Psalm 139 to you. It starts, "O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts even when I'm far away. You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do." David there recognizing that no matter what he's doing, God is with him. God can be with him when he's moving around and seeing other people, even when he's just sat down, even when he's at rest and at home. God is there with him. He knows him. And later on in the psalm it carries on. "I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence." David recognizing that God's Spirit was with him always, just as it can be with us always. We do not need to be alone. God's Spirit can be with us always. It carries on. "If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down into the grave, you are there. If I ride the wings of the morning, if I dwell on the furthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me and your strength will support me." David carry on realizing that no matter how far east or west, north or south, up or down he goes, God is always there. God's Spirit is with him no matter where he goes. He doesn't have to be in a particular place. God's Spirit will follow him and be with him. And then it carries on. "I could ask the darkness to hide me and the light around me to become night. But even in darkness I cannot hide from you. To you the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you." David realizes that even if he's isolated, and David was often stuck and isolated in caves because he was hiding because people were hunting him, even when he was in the darkness of a cave, alone there, God's Spirit was with him. And because God's Spirit was with him, there was a lightness there because it shone in the darkness. God is there and lifts the darkness from us. So when you have those times when you're feeling depressed or lost and the darkness is closing in around you at home because you can't get out and do what you want to do and you can't meet the people you want to meet or the people you love, remember that God's Spirit is still there with you. You can still have light in the darkness. And David goes on later on in the psalm. "How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I cannot even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me." David recognizes that God's thoughts about David are numerous. They are countless. They can't be counted. And I just think that's a wonderful thought, that no matter what you're going through, God's thoughts are with you always, constantly, so much that you can't even count how often his thoughts are with you. And the idea that God is thinking about me, is thinking about you, constantly, no matter what situation we're going through, how it is for us, is amazing. David finishes there. "When he wakes up, you are still with me." David recognizes that whether he's asleep or awake, whether he's in a dark cave, whether he's traveling, whether he's resting, whether he's stuck at home, Wherever he is, God's Spirit is with him, and God's Spirit will lift him and bring light and life into him. And Jesus picks this up. He was talking to his disciples, and Jesus said, I am with you even to the ends of the age. That's Matthew 28, verse 20. And Jesus came to show us that God cared about us. So if you're struggling with loneliness, struggling with being on your own, struggling with the effects of the lockdown for C19, just spend a little while thinking about the fact that you're not actually alone. God's presence, God's Spirit is with you all the time, day by day, moment by moment, thought by thought. As you feel depressed, just turn that depression into praise of the fact that God is with you. And I know that might be easier for those of us who already follow Christ, who have given our lives to follow him. But it's true for every single person. You don't have to be a Christian this moment, but you can ask God to come and be with you physically. He's there anyway, so you can ask for him to make himself known to you. Read Psalm 139. Sit and read that, and as you read it, realise that God is with you. And I've not recorded this, have I? That's annoying.